A warm welcome back to the Maracanazo Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. The Brazilians are out on the field, eager and anxious to start the second half. No sign of Chile yet. But a word there, Don Howell, on the referee. We're not quite sure where he's from, but he's certainly he's had a good first half, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, in a very emotional atmosphere. The thing about him, what I like, is he's a tall man. You know, he looks perhaps past 6 foot. He might be kind of 6'2", 6'3", and I always think that helps the referee. You know, his physical presence is enough to control the thing. The players have to look up to him whether they like or not. And obviously he's going to be a fairly strong guy, and he's getting on top, and he's always on the spot. You know, when there's been trouble, he's virtually been there. And these two teams do play stretched out, and it's difficult for a referee to do that. But he's done it. And also the linesmen have helped as well. You know, if there's been trouble around the touchline, they've been in amongst it and kept the players away and kept them spread out and not let them group round the referee.
Well, here come at last the Chilean players. Aravena there hasn't really been able to stamp any authority on the game. He's the man that makes things happen.
Yes, he does.
He's
the playmaker for Chile, as Dunga is for Brazil, and yet he's a different type of player to Dunga. I mean, Aravena hits a lot of long balls. You know, he hits the kind of the Johnny Giles ball. You know, he's hitting the one kind of 40 yards, looking to get people in. Whereas Dunga is just a simple playmaker. Gives it simple, has it back, plays it there, has it back, in the Liverpool mould.
So then, away we go. Chile start the second half. Brazil, as it stands at the moment, 45 minutes away from qualifying for the World Cup finals, as they've done on every previous occasion, remember. Chile missed out in '86. And they intend to have a say as to who goes on this time, and it certainly isn't over yet. But here is Careca, surging forward for Brazil. Jorginho going in hard then for Brazil. Isis to Aravena. Brazil certainly feel a lot happier if they can obtain the cushion of an early goal, just to ease the situation. They've got a corner here.
Well, it's the same pattern. It's Brazil taking the game to Chile all the way, and I think it's going to go through that way all the second half. It will be interesting to see what happens in the last 20 minutes in terms of will the Brazilians, especially at the back, lose their concentration.
It's Branco with the corner. Just having to move back that posse of photographers. Everybody wants a picture of this game. Rojas, not quite sure how he saw that one through a crowd of players, but I think the referee had spotted an infringement anyway. But he is having a remarkable game, Rojas.
I don't know whether he gave a free kick there for. I don't know whether it touched the Brazilian player's hand, but he was lucky to catch the ball, because he took it at waist high. I mean, normally he'd have that ball taken in front of him trying to catch it there.
Well, I think if there's any luck going, he deserves it. Some memorable saves in the first half from Roberto Rojas. They're familiar with him in Brazil. He plays for Sao Paulo, remember. And they'll certainly remember his performance this evening. Ostengo. Pretty rare excursion upfield for him. Aravena. Brazil playing themselves into trouble. No, the whistle's gone.
I think they were looking to get away with a foul there.
Well, they've got the free kick. It was a push there. Push on Ricardo.
The defender was nearly caught on the ball.
Dunga taking the free kick. Here's Jorginho. Just signed for Bayer Leverkusen in West Germany. Another player then who will be parading his talents in Europe. And this huge crowd will feel a little easier if Brazil can find a goal.
Oh yeah, they're making a lot of noise, that crowd, and yet I think that they're getting a little bit frustrated themselves. I would think that they thought Brazil would kind of get in front at some time in the first half.
Well, if so, they reckon without this man Rojas. Chile, remember, went behind in the first meeting in Santiago. An extraordinary own goal by Gonzalez. It's Correca now. Is this the first? Rojas couldn't keep it out this time. And Correca has scored for Brazil.
Well, that was Bebeto who made that one. We talked about him playing like Peter Beardsley. He's come deep there and he's received the ball off Dunga. He's turned on it and he's slid a ball in between the centre-backs for Correca to get onto, and he's manoeuvred well up. He's gone round the kind of right back as he's come tucking in, and he's hit a shot, not a good shot. And Rojas got a hand to it and couldn't stop it going in.
Nor could Pueblo on the line. Correca. Rojas a little unfortunate then. Puebla couldn't reach it either.
He took a little bit of a bounce to the ball and it caught the top of his hand rather than the flat of his hand.
Correca stayed composed then.
If it hit the flat of his hand, he'd have made a save there. He'd have knocked it away at least.
An excellent finish though from Correca, and Brazil have taken the lead. And Chile now have to score 2, and you have to say that is going to be a very, very difficult task for them indeed. It's hard enough to expect them to score 1. Now they've got to get 2. Here's Jorginho. Brazil with their tails up, and jubilant scenes around the Maracana. Pueblo on the break for Chile. They've got to come out now. No two ways about it. They can't just sit back, hope to defend, and hope to catch Brazil on the counter-attack. They've got to look for goals. And really, that's asking an awful lot of them, Don.
Well, that's right. I mean, the forwards really haven't been in the picture, have they? I mean, the Brazilians have restricted them a hell of a lot.
Puebla ploughing past one tackle, then brought down. They need a lift now.
I think we could see a lot of that that's just happened. I think we'll see perhaps the Chileans, especially around the box, dribble into groups of defenders, dribble into the middle of them, and kind of take the ball left and right, and then hoping for a Brazilian to put his foot out and get these type of free kicks in these situations.
Well, the Maracana crowd are convinced that Brazil are now on their way to the finals. Can Chile come back? They're a goal down. Aravena. Well, it dipped a bit, but it dipped wide.
Yeah, well, the idea was to hit a stinging shot in on the keeper and get people to follow in, looking for the knockdown. He's just leaned back off his ball a little bit and it's gone high, wide and handsome.
But now Chile have got to push players forward. They've got to be far more ambitious than they've been in the game so far, and that might just leave 1 or 2 spaces at the back for the Brazilians now to exploit. And it's a game now, really, you'd expect Brazil to go on to win pretty comfortably.
Yes, yes.
We shall see. The Chileans have played gamely, they've battled on, hoping for something. It looks a little forlorn hope now. Puebla, Isis, Aravena, already there, committing 1 or 2 players more forward. And they've got a free kick just a few yards outside the area. So it could be an opportunity here for Aravena. Ricardo complaining, but I can't see why.
Well, he's gone reaching for a ball that he can't get, really. I mean, the player's done well to come across him and come in on his inside on his left foot. And he's reached across with his right foot and knocked him over.
So the Brazilians with a little bit of defending to do. Taffarel, who's been virtually unemployed throughout this game, has something to do at last. Aravena is there. Pizarro.
Well, there's a Chilean on the end of the wall. There's 4 men in the wall.
It wasn't Aravena this time. Comes to nothing anyway. Advantage allowed. Here's Aravena. Yanez. He's forced a corner, is he? Yes.
Just a missed kick there, the free kick before that, Peter. I think the fellow who was supposed to hit it as a surprise shot, he kicked the ground in front of the ball.
What do you feel now the Brazilian tactics will be? I don't think they'll just sit back.
They won't sit back, but they've got to defend this because the Chileans are definitely coming forward now.
Well, they've got to. No alternative. Isis with the header. Temporal nonchalantly with the save. Off goes Valdo.
Interesting, the Brazilians never put any fullbacks on the goal line there at the corner.
Valdo. Nauro Galvao. Free kick to Chile. They've got to show some urgency now. Aravena with the free kick. Yanez from Betis in Spain. They're still battling for every ball, Chile. They've got another free kick, and if they can just get one goal back to level it, well, who knows? Minutes of the second half gone. Letelier was waiting in the middle. The shot didn't get through that sea of players.
I'll tell you something about this, Peter. If the Chileans can come forward and get people forward, is that they're not used to defending, especially those two fullbacks. I mean, the fellow in the outside right position there, he went past the fullback dead easy. You know, the thing about Branco and Jorginho, they're so used to spending all their time attacking that if they are put in the defending situation, perhaps they'll be found out.
And that, I'm sure, will be on the minds of European teams who may well
I always remember
Brazilians.
When we came here with England and John Blythe scored that fantastic goal, they had a fellow named Leandro playing right back. And he was terrific going forward, but he couldn't defend. And of course, John found him out. And he found out one or two of the Brazilian defenders by running at them and getting at them.
Jorginho for Brazil. Now Careca, the goal scorer. 5 goals now in 2 games for Careca. And the Brazilian crowd cheering every move, hoping they can turn on the sky. Silas. Flag was up anyway. We haven't seen many offsides in this game.
The first one.
Could be the first.
Yep.
Letelier, who got 3 in the 5-0 win over Venezuela. Nothing really has come his way in this one so far. Isis. Here's Yanez. Done well here. Ricardo Roca away. And the Brazilians will be hoping that some gaps will appear now. Here's Careca. Good turn of pace. The bateau lurking. Didn't fall kindly for him. Isis. "1-0 to Brazil. That will be enough to take them through to the World Cup finals." Anyone just tuning in? Careca, the goal scorer, early in the second half. The Brazilians bombarding the Chilean goal in the first half, but to no avail. But then at last a breakthrough from Careca. But Chile hoping now to bounce back. They've got to score 2. At least. Because the Brazilians certainly aren't settling for 1. Isis.
I think that's what we're going to see now. We're going to see the two teams really stretched out box to box. And you're going to see a lot of space in midfield where players can run with the ball and can express themselves. And obviously when it's played like this, you get a group on this box and you get a group on that box and all the space in the middle. So the game does go end to end.
It certainly could make for an exciting finale to this group, to this game. Valdo. Here's Silas. Valdo showing his close control, but didn't get him through.
You find when football gets like this, the defender that wins the tackle and wins the ball, he can virtually run from just outside his box deep into the opponent's half, because there's that much space.
Puebla. Mauro Galval. Valdo seems to pop up everywhere. Bebeto is going to take them on.
Well, Bebeto will relish all this space now. You know, he'll come kind of back 10, 15 yards deep of Correca and pick up balls, and he'll do one or two things. He'll either slide Correca in, or he'll come with it himself and look for 1-2s and dribbles into the box.
He's been very tightly marked in this game, Bebeto,
yes.
But he is an outstanding prospect. And I gather his performances in the South American Championships were so highly rated that they put his price up, which was why, in the end, he didn't go to Germany.
I think he's just like Peter Beasley. He plays exactly the same as Peter Beasley.
Jorginho slipping it through. Now, can Correca pull it back? Off Ostengo for the corner. So more work for Rojas to do in the Chilean goal. A quarter of an hour into the second half. Brazil 1, Chile 0. The climax to this South American group, the qualifying group for the World Cup finals in Italy next year. Branco to take the corner. The Brazilian side really starting to take off in their last few matches. And it will be a major surprise if they don't qualify now. Especially having taken the lead. Rojas, even he can't get this one. But Chile clearly haven't given up hope, and rightly so. For the moment, they're being pinned back. Here's Branco. Now for Silas. Quite sure what his intentions were there. Branco. He's got that cross in again, but Puebla, composed piece of defending. On from Yanez. Italia was chasing hopefully, but Taparel has the ball safely back in his penalty area. Hasn't had a great deal to do.
Yeah, he's got nothing to do. He's got nothing to do, Peter. His concentration really he'll have to be on his toes all the game. You know, you tend to think, oh well, the goalkeeper's had an easy ride.
Silas.
It's concentration for 90 minutes.
And that was such an extraordinary equaliser for Chile in the first game when Tafarel handed the ball to a Chilean player. And then Basai just touched it in. Not quite sure how many referees would have given that one, but never mind. The goal stood, it made it 1-1, and it set up this climax in the final game, which Brazil, for the moment anyway, have control. By Gonzalez.
It looks as though he's come out there, Gonzalez. He hasn't let Bebeto have that space. He's come out and took him this time.
Chileans making a substitution. We haven't had, I'm afraid, any official team lists for this game. I think it's Basai they're going to bring on. Jorginho. Free kick to Brazil. Taken by Valdo. This is Silas. Still looking good for Brazil. Valdo. Now Jorginho. Got his shot in, but Rojas, no problem with that one. They're coming straight back at him. Pizarro for Chile. And if it's possible, they've got to take the game to Brazil. But they've so much defending to do. It's difficult to see how they're going to manage it. Aravena. 3-1 for Chile against Venezuela, and then 5-0. 1-1 against Brazil.
You see, there was a risky moment there for Brazil. You know, the defender had to come across and he had to be 100% into the ball. There were two Chileans on the spot waiting for his mistake.
Off goes Bracco again. A dreadful tackle, but the referee allowing the advantage.
It's interesting that, because allowing the advantage really staved off a problem. Because I think if you'd have stopped the game, I think the two sets of players would have been arguing.
An awful tackle.
That was a shocking tackle.
That was on Correca, not Bracco, but the yellow card for Isis.
Oh yes, he's got it. He saw it. He noticed it, and he's punished it now. There it goes, the body check. But the referee let it go to the advantage of Brazil. And then he punished it after when the ball went down and went dead.
Roberto couldn't quite keep it in play.
You see, if you keep stopping the game all the time as a referee, you can ask for more. You can create more problems, because the players have got chance then to get together and start arguing.
Free kick.
I'll tell you what, every time you see a free kick, he's there on the spot, the referee. He always seems to be within 10 yards. He must be a super fit fella.
Silas and then Correca and Dunga going in hard. Free kick taken quickly. Here's Puebla. Chile still persevering, still hoping. Pizarro. They haven't shown a great deal of sharpness, one has to say, up front. And they're going to need that now if they're to change the course of this match, which decides who goes on to Italy next year. Gonzalez, strong man at the back, but his team are a goal down. Could be something on here. Aravena. Oh, lovely skill, and then a crunching tackle. Mauro Galvao, who came storming out of defence.
I don't know what he's arguing about, really, because that was a vicious foul. He went in virtually 2 feet. Look at that. Oof. And he's getting up and arguing with the referee, and the referee's on the spot again, 5 yards from it.
So, can they test Tafarel in the Brazilian goal? Aravena doubtless will be involved with the free kick. He was the second highest goal scorer in Mexico last season. A lot of the goals coming from set pieces. Whistles and jeers from the crowd, who are only happy when their beloved Brazilians are attacking. Asai couldn't get away from Ricardo. Asai. As I was saying, Don, we have no official team list. I think, in fact, number 3 is Aldair for Brazil, not Ricardo as we thought earlier. So they've Made that switch at the back, Aldeia, who played in some of the earlier
Well,
games.
he's always been the mainstay of the Brazilian, together with Ricardo. It's always been Aldeia and Ricardo, the two Brazilian centre-backs.
Well, there's an incident there. Something has been thrown. The goalkeeper, Rojas, who dives to the ground.
It looks like a firework. There was something smoking there. It looks as though something's hit him. And obviously the Chileans are going to make a meal of it.
So well. But if he really has been hit by a firecracker, then the Brazilians are going to be in deep trouble. The Chilean players reacting to the crowd, who are going wild, of course.
Yes, it's a firework.
It's certainly thrown. I don't know whether it hit him or not, but the way he's behaving there, it certainly would appear that something is amiss.
Well, there's nothing the referee can do, but he makes you want that the goalkeeper's looked after, if he's okay. And then obviously, it's up to FIFA then to do something about the crowd problems within the Maracanazo Stadium.
Well, the referee...
Well, the Chilean physios are saying no. They're putting their thumbs down as though he's got a problem with his eyes or something.
The referee has gone away from the scene for the moment. It's the linesman there.
Yes.
Trying to keep order. The referee is back over now and is steering one or two of the Brazilians away. Certainly concern from the Chilean bench. I mean, the referee couldn't have seen the incident. He was obviously looking the other way as everybody else was.
Well, that's right.
Suddenly went down.
What can he do anyway? I mean, obviously the Chileans will say, can you abandon the game and start again? Which obviously he can't. I mean, he's just got to make sure that Rojas is okay. If Rojas can't continue, they're going to have to get the substitute keeper on.
Well, there's some confusion as to what is going to happen now. The Chileans are far from happy. The Brazilians look a bit bewildered by it all too, understandably. The arguments not getting too toward at the moment, getting too out of hand. Helping Rojas away. Whether they're going to take him off the field, it looks like it. Well, you can hear the reaction of the crowd. Rojas is being carried off. And if he is unable to continue, there will be quite serious consequences. He has been hit by a missile, either firecracker or whatever.
Yes,
the Chileans obviously do have a very strong face.
It looks as though there's blood there or something down the side of his face.
Well, the Chileans were very aggrieved by the punishment inflicted by FIFA in the first game, when they were ordered to play a match against Venezuela in Mendoza. Just apologise for the pictures breaking up for the moment. We hope to restore those to you as soon as we can. As you can see, Rojas has been carried off. Some of the players have left the field too. The poor old referee has got to sort all this out. Well, there are a lot of officials wandering around now with purposeful looks, but no one has been in to ferry out the Chilean team. He looked fairly important, that chap going down there. Perhaps he's going to do something.
I think it looks like a Brazilian tracksuit, to be honest. I don't know whether it is.
Well, the Brazilian players are still out there.
Well, they've got to go in and find out if the South American Football Federation kind of official man on the spot's there and get hold of him, or FIFA's man on the spot there and say, hey, go and get these fellas out the dressing room, let's get on with the game. Obviously, then a doctor's got to decide whether Rojas can continue or not. If he can't continue, the substitute goalkeeper takes his place. That looks like someone from FIFA there.
But has any decision been taken? Well, that, I'm afraid we can't tell you. The Brazilians don't know either.
Well, I'd put my money on it that those two gentlemen there walking towards the referee are FIFA delegates.
They're certainly not dressed to play, so they're not going to finish off the game. And at the moment, nor will Chile. And there was a little bit of a shrug of the shoulders then. So the referee, and he's called it off. He has called the game off, which we can only presume means that Chile refused to reappear. And it's a very hostile reception from the crowd, jeering and whistling all around the stadium. The Maracana absolutely full, and the Brazilian players leave the field. Just listen to that noise. The game is over. It's been abandoned by the referee. Just what the outcome will be, I have no idea. But Chile have clearly refused to come back, and they left the field after their goalkeeper, they claim, was hit by a missile. So they obviously have a case, but surely they should have returned to finish the game and then argue about it with the FIFA officials.
Yes, it's almost certain now what will happen is the game will be replayed in a neutral country in somewhere in South America. You know, the closest country to Brazil, I would think. Which would be where? I really don't know. My geography is not that good.
But it may well be
as Chile had to do in their last game with Venezuela. They went into Mendoza. I mean, had the problems in the first game when Brazil played in Chile, and they had all those problems. They then punished the Chilean Federation by making them play their game against Venezuela in Argentina, and I would think that's going to happen this time.
Unless FIFA decide that Chile should have come back, they should have finished the game.
Right. I mean, unless they've decided that the Chileans have taken the law into their own hands.
And have they abused
and decided that you know, we're not going to play anymore.
And the Chileans presumably are claiming their players were in danger. One had been hit, others could have been.
Those two gentlemen have definitely got FIFA badges on the jackets though.
Well, the only decision that has definitely been made is that the game has been abandoned. Brazil leading Chile by 1-0. That would have enabled them to qualify if it had stayed that way. Perhaps it still will. Clearly Chile believe they're going to get another chance by not returning to the field. There's no other conclusion to be drawn from that. Unless they were so concerned about the safety of their players that they weren't prepared to continue anyway. But one has to feel the suspicion that they've made the most of the situation. They felt the aggrieved party in the first meeting between the two teams when they were punished and sent to play in Mendoza.
Well, this is on Mr. Havilange's kind of back door. You know, he's the top man now.
The Brazilian, well, it's a very difficult situation to resolve. And what a pity it's had to end in this way. It was a game we're all looking forward to for obvious reasons, that we were hoping to see the Brazilians turn on the star, and they were given a very keen contest by Chile. No two ways about that, but Brazil were in front. They were heading for the finals, and then this happens.
Well, that is the shame of it, really. I mean, you don't want these things to happen, and there's always idiots in the crowd that will make these things happen. But the game in general was a good game. It was a good game of football to watch. There were one or two incidents that the referee was right on top of. I mean, it really was a super game.
chap or lady is feeling who threw the firecracker.
Yes.
Has caused this quite incredible scene in the Maracana Stadium in Rio de Janeiro.
And no one knows whoever threw the firework, whether he was a Brazilian or even a Chilean who'd just come to watch the game.
Well, the answers to that and many questions will be answered in due course. For the moment, that is the decision here, that the game has been abandoned. Some of the crowd beginning to disperse, others just staying around, I think in disbelief. So much jubilation that they believe their team were heading for the finals. And now the whole situation remains in doubt. Well, the next World Cup football you can see, hopefully anyway, Ecuador against Colombia. That's on Saturday the 9th of September, 2100 BST, 2200 in Europe. And Bolivia against Uruguay. Uruguay the favourites to go on from that group. That's on the 10th, Sunday, 10th of September. And the live game on the same day, Peru against Bolivia. Two teams contesting a place with Uruguay. 21-25, you can see that one, BST, 22-25 in Europe. Well, a controversial night, and one day it'll all be resolved. But for the moment, that's all we can tell you from the Maracana. We'll leave you with a goal scored by Brazil that, for the moment anyway, doesn't count, I'm afraid. From Peter Brackley and Don Howe, good night for now.
Good night.